So I'm here in very near the house. I came again to clean up the garbages from this area. I had some insights that I wanted to quickly share. I apologize for not having, a better view. This is all we have for this video. But here it is. So some insights related to, spiritual protection. And I'll start this by making a short, introduction and saying that, more and more people are starting to understand that, the life that we are living is not merely what we can see with our eyes or what we can touch with our hands and taste with our tongue and all of this, that there is another dimension to our physical reality, to our physical existence, which is currently unseen. And this is the spiritual dimension. Life is not only that which we can see with our eyes, but it also has this hidden meaning or hidden dimension of it, which contains much of its reason to be and actual meaning for why it is the way it is. So all of these, true explanations and true reason and purpose and the actual why of things are stored in what we call the spiritual dimension, that which currently to us appears unseen. But by the way, not so long ago, the spiritual dimension was as clear and visible to us as the physical dimension. Actually, they were intertwined and we were experiencing them together as one. They were united as one. But that's another topic. So as more and more people start to basically become aware that there's something else, there's something more to our life than this mere material existence, and as they start to experience even different type of, let's say, out of the ordinary experiences, or maybe even supernatural experiences, starting from, small things such as unexplainable synchronicities. Even synchronicities can start to point out at some point that there's something else, happening behind the scenes of our everyday existence. But, you can have this type of synchronicities, but you can actually have even more poignant, out of the ordinary experiences. So as people started to experience these out of the ordinary experiences, they started understanding that there's more to this existence than what they could see with their eyes. And they started paying attention to the spiritual dimension of things, and many started becoming involved in spirituality, practicing all sorts of practices, adopting all sorts of teachings, different denominations, different religions, different types and forms of spirituality. And, as they started adopting all these spiritual practices and having this type of spiritual encounters, many of them, by the way, many of these people which pick up a spiritual path usually do so by psychedelic experiences. So they ingest a psychedelic or another, they start seeing more, of the extended dimension of this reality that we are in. And in a way or another, they start understanding, the need of spiritual protection. And especially in the New Age spirituality, there has been this, let's say, huge emphasis on means of protection, And they have been employing all sorts of visualizations methods and affirmations and guided meditations and even yoga poses and all of this stuff, lighting incenses and burning candles and saying prayers and saying mantras and, a plethora of things, putting crystals, around your bed or all of this stuff. People have been employing these tools as a means of protection, as a means of spiritual protection. And that has to do with the outer, let's say, dimension. But, in the interior dimension, they've been using, as I said, visualizations, chanting mantras, and even this stuff like doing shadow work, what they call to be shadow work, which, by the way, recently I started revealing more and more of the fallacy and the actual danger and deception behind what this mainstream notion of the shadow work. This is a very dangerous practice which has been highly misconstrued, but I won't go into this now. So even in terms of the internal dimension, they've been using methods of protections by different guided meditations and chanting mantras or doing visualizations of all sorts of kind, visualizing a white light surrounding their heart or different type of colorful energies around different areas of their body or their home or whatnot, or doing shadow work, what they consider to be, healing, or inner child work or trauma work or all of this stuff, a plethora of therapies, by the way. And God, sorry, how many therapies, by the way, aren't there out there just to heal the human heart, theoretically, and to offer this cleansing and, cleansing of, let's say, negative energies and thus protection, spiritual protection. So how many tools aren't there invented, right? Exterior tools and interior tools, all for ensuring this type of good luck, positive energy, protection, and healing. And here's my insight. So, by the way, I always had an internal signal of reticence to almost all of these practices. I never felt it is all right to imagine a white light around my heart or different colorful energies necessarily around my body, although I tried it, at some point. But it didn't felt all right. Especially what didn't felt all right were guided meditations. Those were deeply wrong. I didn't felt they were good. They were inducing a sense of peace and of well-being and of goodness in me, but I could feel there's something very artificial. I could feel there's something very synthetic, and that's not all right for me to do, to basically masturbate. It was like a spiritual masturbation of sorts, to generate synthetically these feelings of well-being in myself. And I knew, no, that has to be natural. It has to come, true well-being comes when, we truly heal ourselves. And that well-being becomes natural and stable and solid. You don't need to chant anything or to invoke it with a practice or another, a visualization or another, meditation or another. It becomes natural. So, as I started to do some of this stuff, I started feeling that there's something wrong with them, and I immediately dropped them. So I didn't pursue it in this direction. I didn't feel like I have to employ a method of protection. But I did feel that there is a form of true, genuine protection needed, and especially healing. Like, we all need healing. And through that actual and real valid healing, it comes a natural protection. It's like the immune system of a body, you know. When your immune system is healthy, you have natural protection. Thus, and similar, likewise, I mean, when you have a healthy spiritual immune system, you are naturally guarded and protected spiritually. And my insight here is that, you know, people are doing all these artificial, synthetic, and self-induced, let's say, methods of healing or protection, which are always temporal, and the protection that they gain is always temporal, by the way, and they always have to repeat again the same mantra the next day to feel again that protection or that healing. They have to light again that candle uh, the next day. They have to do these rituals over and over again to ensure that that feeling of protection or that sense of protection and healing prevails. Otherwise, if they stop the rituals, that sense of protection and healing also stops. And what I've learned is that there is a method to truly gain actual and true protection and true health. And I've learned by going in nature, you know, and gathering these garbages from the forests, from the rivers, from the environment. Even right now, this is why I wanted to record this, is because I was gathering again the garbages. Man, and you know, as I clean nature, literally, guys, like, I feel relieved. There's a form of relief. It's like somebody takes something, a heaviness from me that I cannot explain. And it's just that heaviness, that darkness, that obscurity is taken for good. It's like it's gone. And this is not the first time that I've experienced this when I cleaned an area of the earth, of the forest, let's say. I felt this so many times. I've even recorded about this before. That whenever I left from a forest, that I left it a bit more clean, I felt more clean. I walked a different person from that forest. And I was healed. As much as I helped nature heal, I got healed. And that healing was permanent. It remained permanent from that moment on. I was truly changed. And I gathered a certain type of strength and true lucidity and natural confidence that I literally haven't got with any other thing that I ever practiced. Even though, as I said, I didn't practice that many of these New Age practices, but I tried them, some of them. And this is how I can tell the difference between one of those synthetic practices that you have to repeat them each day, and what I've experienced when I went into a forest and I cleaned the forest. Literally, not only that, I feel like something is taken out of my off of my chest. I don't know how to explain it. Not only this obscurity or this heaviness, this darkness, this confusion, this obfuscation felt to just be taken away from me, but I gained a lot of insight. So many insights arose while I was in a forest cleaning for the forest. So I started remembering so much of the truth of our condition here. Many of my insights were, let's say, produced or arose when I was in one of these situations in a forest somewhere, cleaning the forest or the river. So I got a natural sense of strength, and it's an undescribable strength. It wasn't like that synthetic strength, or that I would gain before, when I would affirm to myself different things in my head, like, no, I am worthy of love, I am worthy of uh, beauty, I am worthy of well-being, I am, even if I would say that and I would have some feelings of well-being or rousing in me when I would say these affirmations and all of this stuff, those were just so fleeting. That wasn't true strength. No, not at all. It's uncomparable, guys. It's uncomparable. Like the strength that I'm getting out of cleaning nature, it's a completely different thing. You can't even call that previous thing, the new age affirmation type of gaining strength. That you can't even call that strength. When you truly experience what true healing and true strength and true protection means, you understand that everything that you've thought it is healing or protection or healing or strength before, it wasn't. It was just an artificial simulation, masturbation, or something synthetic, something unreal, actually. It wasn't real, it wasn't lasting, it wasn't true. So this is what the insight that I wanted to quickly share in this recording. It's the way you can truly purify yourself, literally gaining your true lucidity back, your actual strength and confidence and lucidity and knowledge and clear head, clear mind, deep insights, courage. You gain a certain type of strength and courage which can't be explained in words. By doing this type of effort, by helping the world out, helping nature or helping others. That's how you grow true strength. It's not by doing these synthetic things of self-help, which are only aimed at yourself. By the way, those synthetic methods of self-help are literally absolutely selfish in nature. Self-help is selfish. Period. It's only for oneself. All those methods of self-help is just for oneself. Just so one can feel more established, more well-being, more healing, more money perhaps, more financial stability, I could say, more love, more relationships, just for oneself. Of course, it could be argued that some of these people also think about the others, so they think like, well, if I gain money, I can share with others, or if I gain health, I can take care of my family. Of course, we can go into that direction, but just to keep it simple, self-help is mainly selfish. It's just for selfish reasons. You want that strength or financial stability or love or relationship first and foremost for yourself, and then for the others. Then after you have that money, after you have that whatever you want, then you start to think about the others. So they come second. But in this type of genuine work where you do something for the world, you put the world first and you in a way secondly. So see, there is this almost like undescribably beautiful mutual healing happening. Because when I started, by the way, to clean nature, I had no idea whatsoever that it will benefit me in any way. I just had an impulse. I woke up one morning, I was camping near a river with my car. I was sleeping in the car and, I woke up, I went to the river and there were so many garbages, man. And I just had an instinct like, dude, it's just this river looks awful, man, with all this garbage. It's like, I have to try to do something, I can't leave the river like this. And I just had that instinct in the moment, and I started cleaning the river. It took me around 6 hours or so. But after that, it looked so beautiful. Like the river looked enormously beautiful because there were even trees there and large rocks. It was just amazing. And when I saw the beauty, and I felt the entire environment changed, and that's when I started to understand, like, man, wow, just this is something so significant. I've done something extremely significant. And then I felt changed. It's like I started to feel different. And I continue to do that. And then I started to understand more and more of this healing that happened in myself as I helped nature heal. And that's the mutual healing that happens, guys. And this is the beauty, the absolute beauty in the true act of healing, which is always mutual. You give yourself to the world, without any expectations. You do a good deed, let's say a right thing for the world. You, in a way, I see like, you take this leap of faith and you do something good for the world without expecting anything. And then the world takes care of you as you take care of it. This is the true act of healing, guys. This is how you can truly heal the world and yourself. And I can tell you from experience, it works. It is a valid, permanent healing that takes place. As I helped nature heal, nature helped me heal. Like, things were taken out of me, heaviness, obscurity, fears, darkness, so-called traumas, all of this stuff, they were taken out of me as I took the garbages out of nature, man. This is a true act of healing because it reestablishes the connections between us and others, us and the world. And actually, you know what? This is what true healing even means. Healing means uniting that which was divided, uniting that which was separated. For example, I remember Kiron Last gave this example in one of his videos in which, if you have a wound on your flesh, on your body, that wound means you have a divided, division in your flesh. And to heal means to unite the flesh, the skin, to unite it back. And when it is united back, that's when you heal. So healing, it's about uniting that which was separated. And we were separated between each other. And we were separated from the earth that we inhabit. So, see, this type of mutual healing is the only form of healing, actually. When you, instead of caring for your own healing, your own protection, your own self-help, your own inner child work, shadow work, trauma work, and all of this stuff, you go and you do something else for another. You help another one. You lessen the burden of another. You help another one heal. You help another one get out of a suffering or a trouble or a fear or an uncertainty or a anxiety. You help them heal, not yourself, not directly yourself. Because when you lean towards the other, you are reestablishing the connection. You show that you care. And you care more about the others and the world than yourself. See, it has the root of this act of sacrifice which is almost like imbued in the true form of love. It's a small grain of sacrifice each time we lean towards the work and we put ourselves second. We've made a small sacrifice there because it is a leap of faith. We don't know actually if I help this other person or I help this forest, if I will gain anything back. You never know. You can never know that. You might do and receive nothing back. So it is a full leap of faith, but you still do it. And that's the act of love. That's the act of pure faith. That's the act of true, genuine sacrifice, When you do not know if you'll receive any healing in return, there is no guarantee. But still you do it because you care. You truly care about that person. You truly care about that forest. You can't walk away. Something in you doesn't let you walk away. And you listen to your heart and you do it. You give a bit of your time, of effort, to that person or to that river, to that environment. You give something of yourself. Freely, unconditionally, truly. Think about it, it's a part of your life, because that time and that energy that you spent, helping that person or cleaning that forest, it was part of your life. You gave a part of your life. That life will never come back. It was spent, but you spent it in something truly meaningful, guys. You spent it into something truly worthy. You gave a bit of yourself, of a life which will never come back to you. It's done, it's spent, but you truly invested it in the other, in that forest. Imagine that. You gave your life, literally your life, for that other person or that forest. That's just undescribable. That's absolute true healing. And this type of selfless act, completely selfless act, just done out of pure care, pure love. I have true pure love to see the beauty of nature. I love to see that river shining with beauty, being clean. I do it with true love, not because it is imposed, not because I want to do a good thing. It's because I truly love to see rivers clean. That's how I feel good. When I stay near a river, I want to stay in a clean place. I want to enjoy, the light shining in the river. I want to just be there, just fully loving that experience. And thus I create it. So I do it out of pure love, but it's not out of a new age type of love where you overimpose, oh yeah, I should be loving towards this person or towards this river or towards this forest. No, you find that which you already love. Don't try to fake it. You don't try to synthetically produce love. Find that which you already love and just dedicate yourself to the things which you are naturally inclined to. But find that which you truly care for and give yourself to it. Give your life to something else, someone else. This is healing. This is mutual healing, the only type of healing. Because as we give our life to the world and to the others, as much as that selfless act makes that the others are giving their life for us. So as you help another one heal, you'll be healed by the others. And this is our true healing, guys. It's always mutual. You lean towards the world. You help the world heal. And as you help the world heal, the world helps you heal. This is the natural order. This is how true healing is done. It's not by focusing, on yourself, gearing that healing towards yourself. No, it's focusing your life, focusing your love, focusing your care towards the world. And the world is focusing its care towards you. And thus, the link is re-established. The link that was broken is re-established again between you and the others and you and the world and you. And that's, by the way, without saying that we should always just give to the world without having any care about ourselves. No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm I'm actually, we are part of life as much as anything else. So we, for example, my physical body needs my attention and my care and my love. My soul needs my attention, care, and love. So I am directing that care and love and life towards myself as well, but somehow in a way in which I am not the only beneficiary of my care, love, and attention, and not the primal one as well. I am just there in the world, you know, the receiver of my care, the receiver of my love, the receiver of my attention, similar to equally to the world around me. So I am an equal part in this world that I am in, and I'm giving this care and love to myself, similarly to how I give it to the world. And I want to close this now, and I'll just close it by saying that, you know, I've been saying a lot of things online about, the darkness of this world. I've been, let's say, simply said, exposing or uncovering or, going against the main narratives of many of this stuff. And I can tell you, when you pick up this path of speaking about the darkness of this world, usually any person which picks up this path will be heavily attacked energetically and even physically. And I felt like this is how I had the strength and protection to do this so far. It's because, silently, without people truly knowing this part of my life, I would always be in nature, many times, cleaning it, doing this act of effort. But I never thought or felt that this is actually giving me protection. Up until now, I just felt it right now before I started recording this. So I understood that this is what kept me safe. That it's not only that I received healing and so on, but I also received a certain immunity or strength of sorts, actual protection, spiritual protection. And that's the other thing that I wanted to add here in this recording. That if you do this type of effort of helping the world, that's how you truly gain spiritual protection. It's not by chanting mantras or wearing amulets or doing, all those practices that I've mentioned, or, visualizations or whatnot, rituals or whatnot, or cult rituals, by the way. God, how horrible. No, man, you just become pure. You see where you're called to help and you answer the call. You do what's needed, and that's it. You hand yourself in the hands of life. You walk, naked, vulnerable as a child. Paradoxically, that's protection. That's when you gain true strength. Protection, it's like a shield. And it comes from within. It's not a shield around you. It's your heart which becomes strengthful. You become more strengthful as you do this act of effort towards the world. It's just the same principle, I think. Now, as you help the world become more strengthful and healed again, you become more strengthful and healed in yourself. And nobody can take that away from you. It's permanent. That's to keep in mind here. It's a permanent strength that it is achieved, a permanent healing. and it ever so more increases with every act of effort done towards the world.